James got Timbaland to endorse his music. This is Tatum the Dreamer. He's in Las Vegas and he's 27 years old. He writes everything that he sings, which is like crazy. I love that. And then I found him during a major moment on TikTok Live, actually, which is insane by itself, where he got Timbaland's approval and basically got the mission passed, which is
Mhm.
amazing. So we're going to talk
Yeah.
about that today, as well as just his career in general and some of the things that Timbaland said about you. I went back and watched the recording, and he said
Mhm.
that boy can sing. He said he's up there with Steve Lacy and Frank Ocean. Amazing, right? And then he said that you would
Yeah.
be amazing to write with James Fauntleroy. And I wanted to first ask, because James Fauntleroy has 4 Grammys, but besides that, why did that really mean so much to you? Like, what did that mean for Timbaland to even say that?
Yeah, James Fauntleroy has always been my favorite songwriter of all time, honestly. Since I had a favorite songwriter, it's been him. I used to listen to a lot of Rihanna. When I was a kid, I would get her albums for Christmas, so I was in love with James Fauntleroy before I even knew who James Fauntleroy was. You know what I'm saying? Because he did a lot of her work and all of my favorite songs by her, 9 times out of 10, he wrote them. So I don't know. I've always just been, learning from them in a way, both him and her. So I feel like whenever I get the comparison, I feel more understood, or whenever I get that, like, throw the name out there, it's like, "Okay, you see me," I feel
Yeah.
like I feel seen when people say his name.
Yeah, it's like you're they can see who's in the same essence as that. And it's because
Who's influenced me,
mm,
who is, like, special to me, who I'm actually truly listening to and studying as
wow.
an artist,
Yeah.
you know?
So that means that you're just like it makes you feel good about the way that you're expressing. You're like, okay, this is like hitting on what I wanted to, basically.
Yeah,
No, that's super
definitely.
cool. So I wanted to rewind just like a little bit and
Mhm.
ask, how did you even end up on the TikTok live? Like, how did that all come
So
together?
basically, the way that it works is when you're doing songs, it's a bunch of people who do music reviews on TikTok, Twitch,
Okay.
all over any of the streaming platforms. People are doing music reviews, and lots of music listeners or artists come in to listen to those things and see what kind of artists they like. And it's a good way to find new music, but it's also a good
Mhm.
way to find like a lot of like entertainment per se. So yeah, people just kind of go into the lives, and some people, when you play your music, there's like skip lines, or you pay a couple dollars to, just go ahead of everybody or whatever. And with Timbaland, his is more like you pay a certain amount of money and you will for sure get played because obviously he's such a big artist. So many people are, trying to get into his platform and be listened to by him.
Yeah,
So,
literally.
it's you
Mhm.
pay a certain amount just so you can solidify a spot and getting played that night during the stream.
Mm.
And, it's like thousands of people watching you at a time. So it's really like a good investment to make. Some lives aren't, but that one was one. It's like, okay, this is a smart decision.
Yeah.
So, we just we did it, and then we solidified a spot to get played, and that was just his reaction. He had never heard me before or heard of me. So, you know.
No, that's amazing because I when I went back, it was over 3,000 people. And from the moment you joined to like the end of when you joined, it was 6 minutes, but like 3,000 people are now
Yeah.
exposed. Not only 3,000 people, but Timbaland and everyone that he knows in the industry now all knows about you after 6
Yeah.
minutes. That's like, how does that feel for that to even happen? Like, that must have been like a split second in the real world time, like
Well, it was crazy for us because the thing was, we knew all the platforms that he was streaming on. So we were
mhm.
going and counting those prior to the day that we even got our song played, because we had been watching the lives for a second
Wow.
before we actually paid for the stream to like get on it or whatever, just so we could get a feel for it. So
Yeah.
it was more than 3,000. That's why I was really scary, because
Mm.
it was so many different platforms. It was like almost 3,000 on Twitter alone. or I think it even got to 4,000 at one point on Twitter. Like, there were
Wow.
so many different platforms that he's playing. So I'm like thinking all of this. I'm like, this is a lot of people. But I think the funny thing is, I feel like I'm less scared when it's more people. When it's more
What?
people, because there's always somebody's always gonna like you, somebody's always not gonna
Okay.
like you. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So when there's a big pool of it, it's like, okay, at least I know I'm gonna have some people on my side,
Yeah.
opposed to all these people who don't, because I already got my people right here. When it's a small group, it's just like everybody's staring at you and nobody's making any type of emotion and none of them know you. And so I think it's way more scarier when there's
Wow.
less people watching.
Yeah. It's like the odds are in your favor when it's more people. No, that's so interesting. That
I
kinda
guess maybe
goes.
that's
Yeah.
faith in me or whatever. I'm sorry.
No, I was actually gonna get into that because it sounds like this has a lot to do with, like, the mental side of it and the emotional preparation that you really have to go through as an artist, and
Mhm,
so how are you able to develop that, like, this far into your career? Being able to see, like, "Okay, the odds are in my favor if it's more people." I would have never thought about that, but that's, like, where your mind goes. So where did that come
mhm.
from?
I guess, yeah, like I was gonna say, it's more my faith in myself, I guess, because I do believe that I'm talented and I do
Yeah.
like my own stuff, and I do appreciate that aspect of myself to the point where it's like you got yourself or you don't got yourself. I feel like I just got myself to the point where it's like, okay, well, I know I'm not completely bottom of the barrel, worst type of talent. So, not say that that exists, but I don't know. I kind of like, what's the word? I'm like, I do feel like I am that. So that's
Like,
why
you're him,
it
like, you're
sounds, I can appreciate that part of myself without trying to sound like cocky or anything, but I believe in myself.
Okay. It sounds like that really would take you a long way though, because if you believe in yourself, then no matter what audience you get, whether it's small or big or positive or negative, you're always gonna have yourself like that. That's low key.
Hmm.
That's like a cheat code, low key to
Yeah.
getting that. So, mhm,
No, I was just that I don't forget my first feelings. Like,
mm,
for instance, let's say there's a song that I like compared to all the other songs that I write. This one made me feel higher than the rest of the other
mm,
songs. And then someone doesn't like that song. Of course, sometimes you can get discouraged by that. But like, I never forget that first feeling. And that'll push me to like drive, even in moments of what's the word? Even in moments of I can't figure out the word. When you're trying to it's an easy word, but like even in moments of like
like
discouragedness
this
or
despair?
not
No?
despair, but like it's like even in moments of like not believing in yourself fully, I guess. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like where you have doubts, moments of doubt. You see how I said it's an easy word? That's what I was thinking of. Even when you have moments of doubt, just never forget that first feeling you felt. And I
Oh.
feel like that keeps me afloat.
Yeah, like the immediately like the gut feeling, like you
Yeah,
know what you felt at first, and so you
you
just
don't
use that as
forget
your
your gut feeling.
confirmation, like over and over. You're like, okay, but I know what I felt, so like we're gonna keep going with
Trust
things.
that.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
just gotta
that
trust
self
that.
trust and like just knowing that you trust yourself and you believe in what you have. And is there
Mhm.
besides like that gut feeling that you have, is there any like habits that you have or rituals or like things you do that kind of keep you confident and, like, keep you going? If there's anything that you do, like, in the mornings or before you write or whichever, because you write everything that you sing, so it's like that might be a big part.
Well, before shows, I get into an insane vocal training mode. So
Mm,
that keeps me confident to where I can sing on stage, or when I'm writing, I don't push myself more than I need to. Like if it's not there, it's not there. And if it is there, I kind of just let it come naturally. And it's really, really fun. It doesn't feel like work. So it's like I always want to do it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And when it comes to just kind of making music in general or just being an artist, I just feel like it doesn't feel like work, so I don't need too much. Like the work is like just putting in the work. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I
Yeah.
just feel like that keeps me motivated because it's that fun to me. Like I just like to do it,
Yeah. It's
you
like you
know?
would do it anyways, like, if it wasn't
Yeah.
your your true well, I wouldn't say true passion, but if you weren't trying to even turn the passion into your career, like, you would still
Mhm.
be the same way, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's in me, my blood, I guess. Like it's just something I just am interested in. Like I like to talk about music a lot.
Mhm.
I could talk about music all day long,
Yeah.
and people will get so tired of me because
It's like the
it's
one thing that
just
can't escape. You're just like, at some point, if you talk to Tatum, it's gonna go to music, like, at some point, like,
it
that's
might we might end up talking about Beyonce. It just would it'll get there because
yeah,
it's just it's music.
it just
So
is, yeah.
yeah.
No, that's so interesting, and if there is there any, like, things you would give to a other independent artists that's, like, one major key to success? Because you have this really, like, activated, like, instinctual part about your music that you talk about, but is there anything that you could give to someone who maybe doesn't have that instinctual part? Like, they don't know when they feel good about a song, or they don't know when they feel bad about a song, or they don't know, like, they're still struggling with that, with getting a grip on that.
Well, I obviously haven't found my own personal key to success. So I couldn't really give
Mhm.
somebody exact, advice on that because I'm still figuring that out. But what I can say is what I do to keep my mind afloat and, just keep myself from falling over the deep end and keep myself at the same time active in what I do and still growing and learning and being an active, serious artist
Yeah.
is kind of like a hear no evil, see no evil policy
Mm.
that, I learned from somebody who I've always appreciated, but it's more so just like, evil, see no, you gotta be a little bit deluded and and when you haven't made it where you need to go, you have to be a little bit deluded in it because at the end of the day, if you're not, you're just gonna not believe in yourself. You're gonna lose faith in it. It's just the same way with like religion and things like that. You just have to kind of outside looking in, it's all a bit diluted, but we have faith in what we have faith in, and that's what's gonna keep us going. So I just think that is important through anything. That's the only way that I can keep doing this is by just genuinely believing it's possible.
And just like,
Not letting that be messed with,
so
you
when you
know?
say hear no evil, see no evil, like, what does that mean?
Hear no evil, see no evil. Girl, it's not real. The doubts,
Oh.
they're not real. It's not real. Whatever you don't think is possible, it's not even possible to think it's not possible. You know what I mean? Trip your mind
Wow.
out. Like it's nothing. Like hear no evil, see no evil. Let's say this poster came to life, right? And it had magical powers.
Yeah.
Hear no evil, see no evil. This thing cannot hurt me. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it could do whatever it want, but I'm good because it's not there. I'm ignoring it. Like you ignore a
Whoa.
bully and they leave. You know what I'm saying? Because you're obviously not. Nobody's gonna keep beating a dead horse that bad unless you're
Yeah.
just really crazy. But
Whoa,
my
'cause
analogies are terrible, but
no, because no. You're onto something because it's like if you believe that the poster's gonna do something, then now you're scared.
now
But
you scared of the
if you're
poster.
like but if you're like, "Hear no evil, see no evil,"
It's like
it's a
if you
poster
hear
that's
something,
alive, but
if you hear something and you're watching TV and you're in your room and you're in your house alone and you hear something outside and you think it might be a ghost, why would I go check it out? What can I do?
Not
What can
much.
I do to the ghost? I can't do nothing to the ghost. Let the ghost be, and Imma be because Imma just do what I've been doing. And, I feel like that's kept me away from bad situations with ghosts my whole life because 'cause I've always thought like that. I don't think I've thought it was been some stuff in my house before, but I don't go check it out. I'm like, "Hey, Imma just keep walking through this motherfucker. Ooh, this place." Like
No, because
like
it's like, did you run up the ever, like, run in the dark? Like, when you turn off the light, you gotta
when I
run.
was really young, when I was really, really young, I did. But at a certain point, I'm gonna start walking through this dark because I don't even have energy to be running through this house like that. And my mama don't play about running her house anyways. So at a certain point, I did just start walking because I'm like, hey, if it's there, can't do anything about
Literally.
it.
Have you ever heard of this is what I have in my mind that's kinda similar. It's like, objectively, what could I do? So, like, it sounds the same with what you're saying, but let's just say supposed to have, like, this YouTube video go up and then, like, it crashes for some reason. I'm like, I can be upset or I can just think objectively, what can I do? I can't really do much. Like, I'm
Yeah.
not YouTube, I'm not a computer, I don't know what to do. Like, I just gotta let it be. Is that kind of the same? Like,
Yes, it's like not having so much control over everything. That's
mhm,
also like hear no evil, see no evil. It's like when it comes to music, I'm not like if I start to believe that all these evil doubts trying to like I focus on all the good things going on in my life. I have everybody has bad stuff going on. There's always bad stuff going on. Everybody's life is not perfect.
yeah,
But you just have to choose what you want to put your attention towards.
yeah,
And me, the evil is the doubts, the literal physical evil, all of that. Like it's all of it in one. All of the bad things in my mind, I have to shut them off sometimes and get focused. And do you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like
Like the full
keep
undivided
myself
attention,
going.
like, what is it called? Tunnel vision, like,
Tunnel
that.
vision.
Yeah.
Hear no evil, see no evil, and tunnel vision go hand in hand. Just stay
No.
focused, you
No,
know?
this is actually helping me now, like, no, this is crazy because you
Yeah.
told me, when we talked the first time, you told me a few things that were happening at the exact same time as when you got on the live and were, like, exposed to these thousands of people, and it's like everything was happening the way it was supposed to, and if you could tell
Mhm.
us a little bit about that story, like, because you something happened the day before, I think, but then on the 15th of January was the live, and, like, things have just been falling into place. Can you tell us, like, more about that? And you can, like, go into
Yeah,
full detail as much as you want, like,
of course.
yeah.
Yeah, so I lost my job. Well, I got suspended from work, I'll say. I didn't lose my job yet at the time. I got suspended from work, and, I really, really enjoyed this job. This is one of the first job really the second job ever that I've ever been at where I'm like, "Ugh, I love this job. I can keep coming here every day." And I got suspended, and I was so hurt because it's the second time it had happened prior to. It only happened, it happened a time, and it was because of something that had nothing to do with me. So I was being faulted for something that they later
Mm.
found out I had no part in. And now I'm getting suspended again. And so this time I don't know what's going on, and they are not telling me. So I'm just kind of in this state of distraught for like 30 minutes. I was
Yeah.
sad for about 30 minutes, and then, I just let it all go, and I was like, "Whatever, I can't control it. I'm already suspended. There's nothing I can do. If they want me fired, I'm gonna be fired. There's nothing that I can do about this." So I just kinda went on about my day, and that's what happened the first time I got suspended too. It was more like I
Mhm.
know I haven't done anything wrong, so however it goes is how it's supposed to go. And, yeah. So the very next day after I got suspended, you know, was the day that we did the live with Timbaland. And it was just like things started falling into place. We started getting more opportunities with, you know, music and distribution and everything. It's just kind of been working out in our favor as we get ready to release the album. we're getting somebody to co-sign with us to help us out on top of the thing with Timbaland. And then me the next week after that, I was planning to go to Atlanta to film the music video for the next single, and we ended up doing that. That felt great. I had so much time to freely just
Mm.
focus on music for the first time in a while because of working at that job. And then 2 weeks later, I started working at another job. And I got so much done in that whole 2 weeks that I just needed to get done. I needed to focus on the music video. I needed to focus on my performance in Anaheim because I ended up performing at NAMM, a music convention in California. And I just I had a session with my friend Annan, and we made something that was really, really cool. And I just feel like my mind couldn't have been in those places to be in those things had I been so focused on work
Yeah.
at the other job because it was like taking a lot out of me and it was making me work every night. And I'm more
Mm.
creative when it's nighttime. So it was a lot. So I just feel like, so many things happen as blessings in disguise, and you just have to focus on the good parts, even though the bad parts seem bad. That's where my evil, when they say take your own advice,
Yep.
that's when I took my own advice. I didn't care about that job for more than 30 minutes. Do you know what I'm saying? I
A
was
quick 30 minutes.
focused. Quickness, I'm like, my middle name is Mrs. Keep a Job. No shit. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna have a job because it's just I go into fight or flight mode. I'm gonna find a job, but it's just I don't know. I just couldn't be scared this time because I'm just like, you've been down this road before. You've
Mm.
already dealt with this type of thing, so don't act like you don't know how to get through this. If it happens again, you just got to do it. Take it on the chin and keep going. You know what I'm saying?
Wow, yeah.
So that's what that was for me, and it's been so great. Like, I've been mixing and mastering the rest of my album with my friend Dawson, and he's amazing and super patient with me because I don't know any of the terminologies when it comes to engineering, but I'm, figuring it
Okay,
all out.
yeah.
And, we've all been just working really, really hard since that happened. So, it just opened up doors, I guess.
Yeah, like, allowed for all the like, I don't know who said it, but it's like the experience that you wanna have is gonna expand to fill, like, the vacuum that you give it. So, like, if you didn't have a
Mhm.
job, like, of course, whatever you wanna do is just gonna now fill that space, and you have all these
Mhm.
opportunities come in. So I agree too, like, sometimes you have to get certain things off your plate, like, just to clear the plate, like, just give it just
Mhm.
give space for what you actually want. And this has actually worked a lot for me in the past year of my life. So I love that you said that because now I feel like I'm validated for like not being crazy. I'm
Yeah.
like, like there's like a
No.
table of stuff and you just like put it all on the floor. And there's like a trash
Mhm.
can at the end of the table. You're like, okay, in the trash.
Like, I'll
Yeah,
just deal with this later.
literally. And now I can walk around saying, hear no evil, see no evil. I'm like, tunnel
Yeah.
vision, tunnel vision.
Just staying focused, that's what it's really about, I think. And it's not even about like a way to get there. Some people could say, like, oh, I
Mhm,
tried to do that and it didn't work. This isn't really, so there's no method on how to get where you want to be
mhm,
that is specifically written in the books that you have to follow every single time.
yeah,
There is a way to just be happy. There's a way to make sure you're mentally okay as you try to get to your journey. That will make it easier for you to get to your journey if you're
yeah,
mentally okay. Do you
yeah.
know what I'm saying? So be good with and be good without.
Yeah. It's like following the bliss of life
Mhm.
is what I've heard about that because if like things are always going wrong. Like there's no such life where everything's good or everything's bad. Like there's a mixture of both.
Mhm.
But the point is you can't see the good if you're only focused on the bad just as much as you
Sorry.
can never see the bad. No, you're good. You can
It's
just as
just
easily as you can never
Mhm,
see the
mhm.
bad if you're only focused on the good. So both
Exactly.
exist. They do. But
Mhm.
like you said, choosing, like you said that earlier, like choosing what perspective you want to have. And there's no rule book. Like there's no rule book.
It's so important to know that. Like,
Yeah.
when I first got my own apartment for the first time, I'm just realizing, like, I can play my music as loud as I want. You know, I can do whatever I want. I can, hell, I can go put my clothes in the dryer from the washing machine with no clothes on because this is my house. You know what I'm saying? Like, not to be explicit, but like this is me. Like I can do whatever I want to do. And,
Yeah.
when you get to a point in your life and you're like that, you're just like, well, since I realize I have so many choices, I'm just going to make sure that I choose to be happy.
Yeah.
And, I think it's important.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so important. Because imagine you being a independent artist and you are constantly just all that in your head, like, the people, the fact that you're independent, the fact that you want this, you want that, like, that would probably drive you insane.
But don't get me wrong. I'm sorry. I'm not tired. I'm not tired. I'm doing something else is making me yawn, but I'm not tired. I swear. But you could what did you say? What was the question again? I'm so sorry.
Like, it's basically just allowing yourself to not see like, the good and the bad exist, but you only have to like, you get to focus on only the good of it all.
Yeah, I agree. It's just more important. I'm so sorry. Like I got distracted because I yawned and then like my mind went so
You know,
blank. I'm sorry.
that actually brings a good point because I recently learned that your brain takes first of all, your brain can only focus on one thing at a time. Like biologically, our
Hmm.
brains can't do more than one thing at a time. So even when we're
Hmm.
multitasking, we're actually not. Like that's not productive apparently like according to science. And so when you
I've heard
said
that too
like
before.
focus, like when you said like focus on something it aligned with that too because, yeah, I mean, you're always only focused on one thing, so you might as well just intently, like, get what you want. But the other thing is that your brain takes 23 minutes to refocus every time you get distracted. So, like, it's crazy, I didn't know that. So, intently focusing on something and then intentionally deciding, "Okay, I'm gonna, like, not focus on this now," and give myself the 23 minutes to get back on track, like, those are 2 facts that I learned recently that have really been helping me, but could you talk more about the fact that there's no rule book? Because that's what I'm going through right now in life, and I wanna hear what you have to say.
About there
I
being
need your I
no
need your
rule
hot takes
book.
on it right quick.
My hot take on there being no rule book is just like I just don't follow any code, even when because when
Mhm.
I was younger, I used to think, "Oh, well, they did this, so this is how I'm gonna get this." And watching other artists, you kind of want to pinpoint a plan in your mind. I guess you want it always to make sense. But now I'm in
Mm,
the space of
yeah,
having to remind myself, like, just because they did it doesn't mean that's how you have to do it. And it helps me figure out what type of artist I am and what type of music I want to make as well,
yeah,
understanding that there is no rule book when it comes to my music. It makes me feel freer. I have a more clear mind to make the sounds that I want to make and write the type of
yeah,
songs that I want to write and listen to what I'm drawn to because I feel like that's also a thing. So I just feel like it helps me figure myself out more in general, just being able to do what I want and like literally have nobody telling me any ways to do it and just kind of I feel like I've always had
yeah.
to figure things out myself in general. So having to, do it now when I'm in my own space
Wow,
is is such a it's a much more liberating experience, I'll say.
yeah. For sure. And like I've heard that when like or not that I've heard, but I've heard things and it makes me believe that people really don't know how they got to where they are. They're kind of just making like they're kind of just like, "Oh, well, right before I blew up, these four things happened, so that's the thing that made it occur." And I want your opinion on that because it's like, well, do you actually know or was it something you did 5 years ago that's finally manifesting? Or was it something you did yesterday that's finally working now? Or like, how do you know exactly what you did is working when it works, you know? So, like, nobody really knows their true path that they took. They're just getting their best guess. Once they become successful, they're just using their best guess. So, what do you feel about that too? Like that thought? Mhm.
You speak on about life,
Yeah.
speak on about life. I also understand that, like, you know, sometimes you could be putting a lot of work into something when your destiny is already written out for you. So you really don't have to do anything until that moment. So it's kind of tricky. Do you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
for
Because
sure.
like it,
It is tricky.
it's such a
It's like
it's one of those
balancing.
everything is and everything isn't kind of moments about
Yeah,
life. You know what I'm saying? It's
yeah,
very much it could be either way. Like your powers of manifestation could be working for 5 years and it just took that long to do it. And then the next person could say, you know, honestly, I didn't do anything for 5 years. I just stepped into this room and this is how it happened. And happened in the blink of an eye for me. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
it's just different per person,
It
I
really
think.
is different, yeah. It's like the preparation is gonna meet the opportunity or the opportunity meet the preparation, but, like, you don't know when. You don't really know. So, just, like,
That's why you gotta
you can't live your
just
life based on their story because if it took them 5 years, but it would've took you 30 minutes, now you're wasting 5 years of your life thinking it's supposed to go a certain
mhm,
way. But if you just, did what you again, following the bliss, following what makes you happy, following that, you probably would get it faster. Maybe that is the key, what you said earlier, like the following the
yeah.
bliss. Like maybe that's
Hear no evil. That's what I'm saying. No, that you know what I'm saying. I love how you just threw that back in there because it makes so much more sense too. Because it's just like nobody knows what tomorrow is going to bring. Hear no
yeah,
evil, see no evil. Just move. Just vibe, just vibe. And that don't mean now that does not mean don't put in the work. That just means vibe. Now, like I said, it's different because for me, it's like 9 times out of 10, putting in the work is fun for me, so it doesn't feel like I'm putting in the work.
mhm,
I can spend 12 hours in a studio booth and not feel no ways about it, like, I can have so
wow,
much fun for 12 hours straight, you know what
yeah.
I'm saying?
Oh, no, I think he's frozen.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Sorry.
I can hear
It
you.
froze.
No, you're all good. And I feel like
Yeah.
you're obviously you're an artist because that's how I found out about you, but your
Mhm.
brain is like, you know? But
Thank you.
I wanna reel us back to the music a little bit because the first song you played was Groove Phase, which I personally listen to on my own accounts. Like, I listen to it
Mhm.
all the time because it's a good song. It's a great song.
Thank
And
you.
so I wanted you to talk more about that song, and then I also wanted you to shout out the people that were working on the song, because that's the main one that got Timbaland's attention, but also talk about how you picked the other songs, like the other 2 songs that you were gonna, that you played for him.
Um, so yeah, Groove Phase was one of my most favorite studio sessions of all time. Just a very fun day. You know, it was really, really just a bunch of friends getting together and making a good song. Like we all just enjoy each other's company. We have good times, we have laughs. And these are people that I've seen for years and kind of just got in and had some fun. It was the first time all of us were in the same room together making music, but we had all known each other prior to. So yeah, shout out to Nico, Jack, and Bennett and Mason, of course. Um, because that song would have been nothing without them. and it was just such a good day. But yeah, so we uh we made that and we took a session. It was like 5, 6 hours. Mason had somewhere to be that day too,
Mm.
so we really were on crunch time. But it's so funny because we all get together and we like whenever I have a session with Mason at his house, we just chat for so long before we even, start recording anything. We are just catching up and we're cracking up, cracking jokes. It's too much fun when we all hang out and we have sessions. So it was one of those days where we just kind of like we had to finish early because we were just so like he was so busy. I had stuff to do that night, but we just had too much fun, so we didn't get enough work done. So so Mason ended up doing his verse on the song a little later on because I do take quite an awful long time making, background vocals because I like to do a lot of stacks and things like that. But he did his verse later on and it was just beautiful. We all just kind of fell in love with it, but I kind of put it on the back burner because I wasn't really thinking it would fit on my album at all.
Mm.
So it kind of just happened where everybody was just like having the same reaction to that song. And they were like, literally, this is the best thing I've ever heard in my life. People were just kind of being dramatic with how they liked the song, which is why it actually came out. So that's another little thing, I guess. But that's why we chose that song because it's like it's the one that everybody gravitates towards so much. So
Mhm.
we just knew it would be that one.
Yeah, and the other 2 songs that you picked, are those on that are gonna be on the album, or are those on a separate?
Yeah. Yeah, of course. Those are definitely going to be on the album. This time with this particular body of music, I wanted to kind of have a little bit more fun with singing live because the album I made before was a little slower. So I
Okay.
tried to speed it up a bit with this one and kind of make it more bouncy, but there's also still
Mm.
some very ballad centric. Shout out to Ephraim for coming up with that for me. But it's a lot of ballad centric type music on the album because I feel like that's a big like love of mine. I like to do that kind of
Okay.
slower song because I can build more with my voice. But yeah, those are both gonna be on the album.
So ballad, like the poem format, kind of like that? Is that what you mean by?
Um,
Because I don't know
Ballad
what that
centric,
means.
just like it's more so just kind of being centered around that slow, steady, strong vocal performance. Like slow and steady sonics, but a strong vocal performance is kind of
Mhm.
more what it's going towards. Because you look at like Group Phase, it's more chill and slower, but it also
Yeah,
has that like groove, hence the word,
yeah.
but it's more dedicated vocally than a lot of
Mhm.
my other song choices, you know
Okay,
what I'm saying? And same with the song like Nocturnal and Superstar. Both of those are much slower songs, and it gives you an opportunity to focus more on the voice. That's
gotcha.
kind of what I see as ballad centric.
Okay. And then can you give a little sprinkled little spice of the information of the album, when it will be coming out? Like, we know those 3 are gonna be on there. Do you know how
Mhm.
many are gonna be on there in general, or?
So I have decided that I just want it to be 11 songs.
Okay.
Um, I want to keep it at a small number so that it's a solid 11 songs. But because of those opportunities that we will kind of wait to speak on, we want to push the album back so that we can give the album the time that it actually deserves and the love and nurturing that it deserves um, to be to get the best out of it. Um, so I am hoping no later than April it should be out, but, it was originally it was gonna be yesterday. That was the goal. It was supposed to be out yesterday,
Oh,
but
Valentine.
yeah, but
Yeah.
it's okay because it's gonna work out in our favors, I think. And we still have the music video that we're excited about, and we're finishing the final mixes on that song literally right now. So, it'll be perfect. It'll be perfect when it's ready.
Yeah. And I'm so glad you said that because with your mindset, it's definitely gonna work out how it's supposed to. Because you definitely are
Yeah.
see no evil, see no
Hear
wait,
no evil,
guys,
see
see
no
no
evil. Hear
evil,
no evil. Hear no evil, see no it's not
hear no
there.
evil, see no evil. It's
It
not
doesn't
there.
exist. It doesn't
It doesn't
exist.
exist, guys. So I want you to give well, not okay. Before I say that, now we know what to expect
Mhm.
from the album, which I'm very excited for. April. Um, that's super exciting. And so is there anything that you can because I honestly think the people who watch my channel are like-minded to us. Like they're dreamers. They're people that are like optimistic people in life, want things out of life, and they're interested in doing it the unconventional way. We don't wanna follow the rule book. We just wanna experience life as itself. So is there
Yeah.
anything that you can give to someone kinda just zooming out of the music, but just give a kinda overview, of kind of just advice that you feel like giving right now?
Um, you know, I feel like the biggest advice that I can, have somebody does what would you advice am I giving?
So this is let me give a quick scenario. Like, honestly, just give me advice. How about let's just do it that way. So you're like, hi,
Exactly.
this is what's working for me right now. This is what I want to tell you. This is the biggest breakthrough I've had like in a week. So like here's advice, Kai. Like basically what you're currently going through, what's been your biggest breakthrough mentally, like this week or this month.
My biggest breakthrough this week or this month is just I feel like I've been learning to just or trying my best to learn to let go of the things that I can't control really, really heavily.
Mm,
I feel
wow.
like I've been trying to teach myself a lot of and you know, only controlling the things that I can control genuinely. Like I can control my actions, I can control what I eat, I can control what I consume mentally, physically,
Yeah.
visually. I control that. So I've been working on giving that more attention and the other stuff that's out of my control, just letting it be and not
Yeah.
letting it affect me. I've been trying to focus on things like that.
Yeah. And that
So,
actually, yeah.
that's been a focus of me this
No, because that makes so much sense now that you say that when you were talking about, um, like, not having the rule book in life, but you just said, like, "Oh, I get to choose what I wanna eat. I get to choose whatever, whatever." But if there's someone telling you, "Oh, you have to eat this way to get this," then you're trying to be in control of it. So, like, you're doing, like, 2 birds at 1 stone at the thing you want, but you're not doing it the way that everybody thinks you should. Like, you're choosing it the way you wanna do it. You're making your life the way you wanna be,
Mhm.
which I love so much. So,
Exactly.
I want you to let us all know where we can find you on where like, the platforms we can find you on, and then your name for all those social medias. They are already down in the description box if you guys wanna click that, but I still want you to go ahead and let us know where we can find you. This was such an amazing time with you.
Thank you. It was an amazing time with you too. I appreciate you for having me and taking your time to ask me all these questions. It's been very fun. My name is Tatum the Dreamer. You can find me literally at Tatum the Dreamer everywhere. I kept it very simple. It's the same
Yeah,
on every single platform. Nobody else has this name. So you can search up Tatum the Dreamer. It's 3 words.
and that's on X, which is Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. I mean, TikTok is available now for download again. Did you see that?
Yes, it let me know the other day when I was just scrolling. I'm like, I don't care. I never deleted it anyway.
Me deleting it. I was like, "Wait, what? Is this real?"
That
So,
is
yeah, because
so
I didn't have the app when
funny.
it got deleted, so we're back on
Oh
TikTok.
my gosh.
Yeah, it was a hard month for sure. Um, but
Definitely.
yeah, so this was such an amazing interview. If you guys have any question, if you're watching this video live and you didn't get to ask any question that you wanted to ask, or you catch the recording afterwards, you can always drop it in the comments. And I'm sure Tatum at some point will get back to you if you have any questions for him, but also your social medias, they can always go and ask you things. So yeah, you guys can always connect with him. Again, if you don't remember what his usernames are, they are going to be in the description box. So you can always check back there. It'll be at the very top of the description box.
Mhm.
Also, your YouTube. I forgot to add that, but your YouTube is also Tatum the Dreamer. So, yeah, this was such an
Thank
amazing
you.
interview, getting to know more about your music, more about you, and just everything behind the music that isn't musical, like the mindset and stuff. This was amazing.
Thank
So,
you. Thank you. I appreciate you so much. I've had so much. It helps when, I get to talk about things that I believe in, because it also like my mind too. So thank you
yeah.
for asking those types of questions.
No, this is amazing. And we definitely have to do a part two for sure. For sure. This will
Definitely.
be
Yeah.
amazing. So it was so nice seeing you today. And I'll see,
You
well,
too.
it's the weekend. So have a great rest of your weekend.
All right. Thank you. You too.
Bye.
All right.